I've got some amazing news for you. The new complete Selenium Webdriver course is out, and I wanted to let you know some updates that have been made to the course and how to handle those updates. The way I want you to think about this course is kind of a branching mechanism of the course outline. The course outline is linear. Think of that as a master branch, and we've split up the course into two branches that are going to branch out and then merge back together into a single course. That way it's backwards compatible and everybody can continue learning. I'll explain more the reasons in a little bit, but I wanted to show you how to handle this. So if you imagine this little road right here that follows along through our course, at first we're going to start, and then we're going to get to a point where we're going to learn about the introduction, C#, introduction to Selenium, some weights, and mouse and keyboard actions. Those are all the topics that are going to be covered initially and will apply to everyone. Afterwards is going to come the version 2 path, as I'm calling it. This version 2 path is what I am releasing right now, and it's going to involve the latest technologies, latest frameworks, and better test automation based on thousands of hours of experience that I've compiled over all this time and placed it into the new test automation framework design. So this is the version 2 path, and it comes immediately after all of those sections that I've mentioned. As you proceed along the version 2 path, you're going to get to the end, and that's going to be the conclusions. This path is really easy to follow because you basically start at the very beginning and you just proceed down through all the videos until you get to a conclusions section that will tell you basically you're finished with the course. Now, before the version 2 path of the test automation framework, after that initial section of the introduction, C#, mouse and keyboard, after the mouse and keyboard, what's going to happen is you're going to have two options to go. We already went down the version 2 path. However, if you've been on the version 1 path, you can still continue. But what you have to do is branch off now. You're going to have to skip a bunch of videos. That's why this next point goes beyond the conclusions. So you're basically going to skip the version 2 path and the version 2 conclusions, and you're going to get towards later sections, which I'm calling the version 1 path. This version 1 path is going to pick up where you left off after the mouse and keyboard actions so that you can proceed utilizing version 1 test automation framework. And in the version 1 path, you're going to basically master all of the version 1 content. And that version 1 content basically just refers to all of the framework test automation that you're going to be doing using the version 1 path. It's all the old framework design, which I now re-implemented in version 2. So if you're following along that road, you're basically, again, you're just going to skip over all the version 2 content and proceed into version 1 until you literally get to the end of all the content. There's going to be no more content after this, and that's going to be the end of the course. So now, with all of that said, you may be asking, why is this happening and why did I do this? Well, the answer is pretty simple. As you know, technology is always evolving, right? Software is always evolving and there are always new versions. Hardware is always evolving. There's always new versions. So why shouldn't my test automation course evolve with that software and hardware and everything else? So because of that, I've implemented a brand new way of doing test automation. And what you're going to do is you're going to get all of the latest technologies and tools combined to make the best current test automation framework that you can have. The other reason why I did this, why I did that split path, is so everything is backwards compatible. I understand that everyone is in a different state of the course. Some people may just be starting test automation frameworks. Some people may be very deep in the test automation frameworks. So I didn't want to throw those people off the path and not allow them to continue where they left off. And so I've made it backwards compatible so that version 1 students can proceed if they would like to. However, anyone new starting can pick up version 2 and proceed with version 2 if that's what they want. And of course, as I said, drastic improvements in test automation knowledge. It's been about at least 2 years since I've released the version 1 of the course, and of course I've been making updates to it, but it was impossible to make updates to the test automation framework without refactoring the entire thing. So that's what I've done here. I've completely replaced it with all the new knowledge, 5,000 hours plus that I've gathered, condensed it into a tight, concise course for you so that you can use all of my latest knowledge to implement the best test automation frameworks. So you might also be asking, so how do I take action on all of these course updates? Well, I've broken this down into several groups. Group 1 is a group of people that has not yet started, or you're only a few lectures in. Basically, if you're in any lecture before the end of the mouse and keyboard actions section, all you have to do is follow the new course until you're told to stop. You know exactly when to stop. It will say, hey, this is the end of section, this is the end of version 2. Please stop. Do not proceed any further. And you'll know you'll be done with the course. Group 2 are people that have just started developing version 1 test automation framework. So it means you've covered C#, you've covered all the basics about Selenium, and now you're digging in to the version 1 test automation framework. So what should you do? Well, you should restart the automation portion of the course regarding version 2 framework development and proceed from there. Yes, forget what you learned about version 1 test automation frameworks. Well, don't exactly forget, but you're no longer going to be using that test automation framework. You're going to be using a new brand of versioning, a new version of test automation frameworks, version 2, that's going to be way better, thousands of hours ahead of version 1. So you really want to hop on version 2 and use that framework. And then there's the third group. This is the group of people that has almost finished with version 1 course. So if you're deep into test automation using the version 1 framework, you already have it developed, you're already using it at your work, then my recommendation is that you keep the old framework. As you keep the old framework, you should still watch the new lectures regarding test automation frameworks of version 2. As you watch those lectures, slowly apply your knowledge, your new knowledge, to your old framework design to move it into that direction. Do not do a huge refactor. If you mess up the huge refactor, there is no going back. Sometimes systems never recover from a large refactoring. So you do it incrementally, agile manner. Find your weakest point and improve it little by little, and slowly your test automation framework will be in the latest and greatest state up to this current point. So that's really about it. It covers all of the scenarios. I'm super excited to have you taking this amazing course. This knowledge that I'm about to share has been gathered over thousands of hours, and I'm really excited for you to try it, to enjoy it, and for you to provide me feedback. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later.